Over the years, scientists and explorers have made some truly bizarre and thrilling discoveries buried in ice.
This body was preserved by the snow and the ice and the cold. How did it get there? What does it have to tell us?
From ancient creatures to mysterious artifacts, each frozen find tells a unique story, locked away for centuries or even millennia until now. Curious to know what oddities have been hiding in the ice? Today, we explore the top 15 strangest things ever unearthed from the frozen world. Let's dig in. An entire mountain range. A Soviet expedition made an astonishing discovery underneath Antarctica's icy surface. An entire mountain range buried under 600 meters of ice, first uncovered in 1958. Known as the Gamburtsev Mountain Range, this massive range stretches an impressive 1,250 kilometers, with peaks soaring as high as 3,390 meters, comparable in size to the European Alps. Yet, despite its size, the range remains shrouded in mystery. Hidden beneath thick ice, its remote and difficult-to-reach location has kept scientists from fully exploring its features. Even now, we know very little about its unique characteristics, making it one of the least understood mountain ranges on Earth. Glacial gold uncovered. Gold is typically found deep underground, but melting glaciers have revealed new deposits over time. During the last ice age, glaciers transported rocks rich in gold, and some of these rocks have remained frozen in glacial ice. Now, as climate change causes glaciers to recede, gold deposits are starting to emerge in streams fed by melting ice. The glacial streams are showing a gradual increase in gold volume, creating a unique opportunity for prospectors who time it right to strike it rich as the ice continues to melt. New dinosaur species frozen in time. During an Antarctic expedition to James Ross Island, Argentinian geologists Eduardo Olivero and Roberto Scasso stumbled upon an extraordinary find buried under ice: the bones of a new dinosaur species. This discovery, made in 1986, revealed the remains of an ankylosaur, which has since been named Antarctopelta, or Antarctic shield. Excavating the fossil was no easy task. It took over a decade to fully unearth due to the freezing ground and harsh Antarctic weather. To this day, this single fossil remains the only known specimen of this species, making it a rare and valuable insight into prehistoric life in polar regions. Yucca the mammoth. A group of Siberian tusk hunters stumbled upon an extraordinary Ice Age relic, a woolly mammoth named Yucca. Discovered in 2010, Yucca is one of the most well-preserved mammoths ever found, believed to have roamed the tundra around 39,000 years ago. It's thought that she met her fate after becoming trapped in a swamp, which helped preserve her lower body nearly perfectly. This exceptional preservation allowed scientists to extract actual flowing blood from her remains. A groundbreaking find that revealed mammoth blood contains natural antifreeze properties. Today, Yucca is on display in Moscow, providing visitors with a fascinating look at Ice Age life and the unique survival adaptations of these ancient giants. A box of jewels in the ice. A French alpinist hiking across the Glacier on Mont Blanc made an incredible discovery. A metal box half buried in the ice. Found in 2013, the box bore the label "Made in India." Inside, he uncovered nearly 100 colorful gems, a dazzling mix of sapphires, emeralds, and rubies. After further investigation, it was determined that these jewels likely came from an Indian Airlines crash in the area, which had occurred either in 1950 or 1966. Despite efforts by authorities, they couldn't trace the original owner of the gems. In the end, the alpinist and the owners of the land decided to split the treasure, with the alpinist taking home a share valued at approximately $340,000. This unexpected find added both history and a touch of treasure hunting excitement to his hike. The strange Grasshopper Glacier. In Montana's Beartooth Mountains, nestled within Custer National Forest, lies a glacier unlike any other, Grasshopper Glacier. Unlike typical snowy white glaciers, this one has a grayish tint, caused by millions of frozen locusts embedded within the ice. The phenomenon has puzzled many, but the leading theory is that centuries ago, an enormous swarm of Rocky Mountain locusts was migrating over the Rockies when they were suddenly trapped by a severe winter storm. The glacier then froze many of these locusts in place, preserving them for centuries and creating this incredible sight. Discovered in the early 1900s by geologist J.P. Kimball, Grasshopper Glacier caught the attention of scientists when he sent samples to the U.S. Bureau of Entomology in 1914. The frozen locusts were identified as Rocky Mountain locusts, a species that has since gone extinct, likely due to habitat loss from farming. This frozen swarm offers a rare glimpse into a lost species, preserved in a natural time capsule. Allen Hills 84001. Not every meteorite captures attention, like the one that may have wiped out the dinosaurs, but Allen Hills 84001 comes close. Found in Antarctica's Allen Hills icefield in 1984, this 1.9 kilogram rock has an extraordinary history. Formed on Mars around 4.2 billion years ago, it likely crystallized from magma on the Martian surface. About 17 million years ago, an asteroid impact on Mars sent it hurtling into space, where it traveled for eons before landing on Earth some 13,000 years ago. What makes Allen Hills 84001 so fascinating isn't just its age, it's the mystery it sparked. In 1996, NASA scientists suggested that certain carbonate grains in the meteorite, which contained iron minerals and organic compounds, might have been formed by Martian microorganisms. This groundbreaking theory hinted at possible ancient life on Mars, igniting global excitement and a flurry of research. However, later studies challenged these claims. By 2022, a definitive study concluded that the carbonate grains likely formed through natural, non-biological processes involving water, not Martian life. While this result dampened initial hopes, the meteorite still holds valuable insights into Mars's history and the possibility that the planet was once hospitable to life. Today, Allen Hills 84001 can be seen at the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, where it remains a testament to our enduring curiosity about life beyond Earth. Nuncho Ga, the baby mammoth. In June 2022, miner Travis Mudry was hard at work in Canada's Yukon Territory, digging into a permafrost-covered wall in search of gold. As he chipped away at the frozen dirt, something extraordinary emerged. A small dark animal with short legs, preserved in near-perfect condition. Initially thinking he'd found a mummified baby buffalo, Mudry took a closer look and was stunned to realize the creature had a trunk. This wasn't a buffalo, it was a baby woolly mammoth. Upon alerting his boss, the team halted work and local experts were called. Paleontologist Grant Zazula from the Yukon government dispatched 2 geologists who quickly arrived to carefully extract the mammoth just before an incoming storm. The precious find was wrapped in a tarp and transported to a nearby site, where scientists, miners, local politicians, and First Nations elders gathered for a ceremonial blessing. The elders named her Nuncho Ga, meaning big baby animal in their language. A brief examination revealed that Nuncho Ga was a female, likely just a month old when she passed away over 30,000 years ago. Her preservation is owed to the Yukon's permafrost, which acts as a natural freezer, protecting soft tissues like skin, muscle, and even hair. Thanks to this unique environment, Yukon miners have uncovered other Ice Age remains, including a wolf pup, a caribou calf, and even giant camels. Nuncho Ga is now recognized as North America's first complete baby woolly mammoth, and only the second found worldwide, marking an exciting milestone for science and history. Mysterious crash of C-53. Skytrooper. When a C-53 Skytrooper Dakota took off from Tulln Air Base in Austria, bound for Pisa, Italy, the crew and passengers on board had no idea they'd be part of a story for the ages. On November 18, 1946, Captain Ralph Tate Jr. chose a safer, scenic 2-day route through Munich and Marseille to avoid bad weather. But luck wasn't on their side. Somewhere over Innsbruck, they encountered severe weather anyway, disorienting the pilots and throwing them off course. Tate could see they were navigating through the Alps, dodging peaks, but he mistakenly believed they were flying over the French Alps, not the Austrian ones. Caught in a sudden downdraft, the plane plummeted toward a looming mountain peak. Acting quickly, Tate pancaked the plane onto the Gowli Glacier to save everyone. The aircraft skidded on its belly before getting lodged in a snowbank, stopping just short of a dangerous crevasse. Miraculously, everyone survived with only one serious injury, but now the group was stranded 3,200 meters high in the Alps in late November. Despite the crash, the plane's radio still worked, though mountain interference delayed their rescue. After 3 days, the US and British Air Forces located the downed plane, with some reports claiming Tate's own father spotted it after a flare was launched. Thanks to the efforts of local Swiss alpine soldiers, everyone was eventually brought to safety. The plane, however, was left behind and gradually forgotten. That changed in 2012 when 3 Canadian university students hiking on the glacier stumbled upon its propeller sticking out of the ice. As the glacier continues to melt, more pieces of this historic crash are likely to be revealed, slowly uncovering a remarkable tale of survival and adventure in the frozen Alps. Antarctic Ice Holes. Scientists were astonished when a vast hole appeared in Antarctica's winter sea ice, a phenomenon both unexpected and mysterious. This wasn't just a small gap in the ice. The hole, roughly the size of the US state of Maine, seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. Later, researchers identified this massive opening as a polynya. Polynyas form when warmer, saltier water from the ocean depths rises and melts the ice above. This warmer water continues to melt the surface ice, creating a hole that resists refreezing even in the Antarctic chill. But this particular polynya was unique. In October 2017, scientists noted that most polynyas tend to form along the coast, where the ice meets open seawater. This one, however, was deep in the icy interior, far from any coast. Its unusual location left researchers with a host of questions, not only about how it formed, but also about its potential impact on the environment. One major area of concern is how polynyas affect ocean currents and the local climate. Since polynyas prevent new ice from forming, they disrupt how water and heat circulate in the region, potentially affecting Antarctic marine life and temperatures. Some scientists even wonder if climate change plays a role in polynya formation, though this hasn't been definitively proven. By analyzing satellite data, autonomous ocean sensors, and tracking devices on marine animals, researchers traced this polynya's formation to a turbulent current near an underwater mountain called Maud Rise. This current drew up saltier, warmer water, which melted the ice above, creating the polynya and altering water movement across the area. This discovery continues to spark curiosity among scientists who are now exploring the broader implications of these massive ice holes on Antarctica's climate and ecosystem. Ancient Iron Age skis. What if ancient people, thousands of years ago, enjoyed skiing just as we do? It turns out they did. In Norway's national park, scientists found something remarkable in 2014. A single, ancient ski buried in ice. 7 years later, in almost the same spot, they found its matching pair, even better preserved. Together, these skis tell a fascinating story of life, and possibly sport, in the Iron Age. But how far back do skis really go? Archaeological records suggest that people in Europe and Asia began using skis around 11,000 years ago, toward the end of the last ice age, mainly for hunting. The oldest confirmed ski, discovered in Russia, is about 8,000 years old, and Scandinavian archaeologists have periodically uncovered wooden skis dating as far back as 3,200 BC. These Iron Age skis aren't the oldest skis ever found. In fact, they're relatively young, at about 1,300 years old. What sets them apart is their exceptional condition. Measuring around 188 centimeters long and 18 centimeters wide, they are large and sturdy. Interestingly, the second ski is slightly bigger than the first, and according to Lars Pilo of Norway's Glacier archaeology program, that's not surprising. As he explained, these skis weren't mass-produced. They were handmade, each with unique features and a history of wear and repair. Beyond their size, these skis have unique design features. Both skis have raised footholes, leather straps, and twisted birch bark bindings that would have secured the foot. This design hints that their owner was likely a hunter, a traveler, or both, showing us that even the remote, high mountains of southern Norway were active and well-traversed 1,300 years ago. One detail had researchers scratching their heads. Could these skis have been lined with fur? Initially, it seemed possible, as fur would have added grip. But the newer ski has a furrow, a groove typically found on ancient and modern skis, that would serve no purpose if covered with fur. So it seems these skis were meant to glide smoothly, possibly for faster travel. This discovery not only gives us insight into ancient craftsmanship, but also a glimpse into the activities of people who once roamed the icy terrains, mastering the art of skiing long before it became a sport. Ancient viruses. Imagine long frozen viruses from ancient times, preserved under layers of ice, just waiting to be released. It might sound like science fiction, but scientists have confirmed that some viruses can indeed survive in ice for tens of thousands of years. While we don't know exactly how many of these ancient viruses exist, or how many may have already quietly reawakened, scientists have identified a few. For now, research has focused on permafrost viruses that infect single-celled organisms like amoebas, which are harmless to humans and help scientists study the kinds of ancient viruses that might still be alive under the ice. As computational biologist Jean-Michel Claverie puts it, scientists are being very cautious. We will never risk isolating a virus eventually capable of infecting modern mammals. We do not wish to take the immense risk of starting a new pandemic with unknown zombie viruses from the distant past just to demonstrate that we're right. So which safe ancient viruses have scientists discovered so far? One example is Pithovirus sibericum, one of the largest viruses ever found. At 1.5 micrometers in length, this thick-walled, oval-shaped virus was discovered in a Siberian permafrost sample in Russia's Far East and dates back around 30,000 years. Another virus, Maveriskissum, was found in the same permafrost sample and has a hairy outer layer. It's slightly smaller than Pythovirus, but highly productive. When it infects an amoeba, it can generate up to 300 new viral particles per infected cell. The discovery of multiple ancient viruses in a single sample of permafrost suggests that dormant pathogens could be more common in these frozen layers than we realize. So far, the oldest virus scientists have identified in permafrost is Pandoravirus yodoma, found in icy deposits and estimated to be about 48,500 years old. This virus, with its large egg-shaped particle, is yet another testament to the impressive survival abilities of viruses. While none of these viruses pose a threat to humans, scientists recognize that not all ancient viruses may be so harmless. There's a real possibility that dangerous viruses could be buried in permafrost, and if the ice melts due to climate change, these viruses might emerge and spread, potentially catching the world by surprise. To prevent such a scenario, researchers emphasize the importance of monitoring newly exposed viruses in Arctic regions. By doing so, we might stay a step ahead and ensure that ancient, potentially dangerous viruses don't turn into a modern-day threat. The story of Glacier Girl during World War II, a squadron of 6 P-38 Lightning fighter planes and 2 B-17 Flying Fortress bombers encountered a fierce blizzard on their journey from Greenland to the British Isles. Forced to turn back, they made an emergency landing on Greenland's icy glaciers. Although all crew members were safely rescued 9 days later, the aircraft were left behind. Over the years, shifting ice sheets buried the planes deep under 75 to 90 meters of ice. In the early 1990s, about 50 years later, a team decided to recover one of the P-38 fighters, which became known as Glacier Girl. The operation was an ambitious and costly undertaking, spanning 11 years and requiring around $2 million. Using a large heated plate to melt the ice, the team created a tunnel down to the plane. They then cleared out a cavern around it with blasts of hot water, carefully bringing individual parts to the surface. To their surprise, Glacier Girl was in decent shape. Though her canopy was crushed, most parts were intact. After a $500,000 restoration, she was ready to fly again, and in October 2002, Glacier Girl took to the skies. In June 2007, an even more ambitious flight was planned. Glacier Girl would attempt to complete her original journey across the Atlantic, starting from Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, with England as the final destination. However, a coolant leak grounded the plane in Goose Bay. a town in northeastern Canada, cutting the journey short. The successful recovery of Glacier Girl inspired a new mission to retrieve a second P-38 from the icy depths. In 2011, a team equipped with ground-penetrating radar mounted on drones located another plane, identified by its pilots as Echo. The plan, as of 2018, was to use the same heating methods that worked in '92 to bring Echo to the surface. However, as of now, it's unclear if the excavation was ever completed. The discovery of Otzi. When most people think of mummies, ancient Egyptian pharaohs and nobles usually come to mind. But in 1991, a surprising discovery high in the Ötztal Alps on the Austria-Italy border revealed an entirely different kind of mummy. Two German hikers stumbled upon a frozen, well-preserved body, later nicknamed Otzi, who would soon be identified as Europe's oldest natural mummy. After extraction, Otzi's remains were studied at the University of Innsbruck. Amazingly, scientists dated him to around 3,350 to 3,105 BC, making him over 5,000 years old. Despite the years, the cold temperatures in the Alps kept him remarkably well preserved. From these studies, researchers learned a great deal about him. Otzi was about 5 feet 2 inches, left-handed, and wore a size 8 shoe. His dark brown eyes, tan skin, and dark brown hair pointed to a southern European heritage. But his health was less ideal. He suffered from a rare rib formation anomaly, cavities, intestinal parasites, Lyme disease, and chronic pain in his back, knees, hips, and shoulders. Despite these issues, Otzi had ventured into the rugged Alps, seemingly prepared for a challenging journey. He was found with warm clothing, a backpack, an axe, a dagger, a bow and arrows, and a small amount of food, suggesting he was likely hunting and gathering as he moved through the mountainous terrain. His belongings and gear indicate a life lived in a harsh environment, relying on limited but essential resources. Though Otzi's remains were initially examined in Austria, they now reside in Italy due to historical and geographical factors. After World War I, the Treaty of Saint-Germain in 1919 set the border between Austria's North Tyrol and Italy's South Tyrol along the watershed of the rivers in the Ötztal region. However, by 1991, the glacier where Otzi was discovered had retreated, creating uncertainty over the exact border. Land surveys determined that while the drainage point leaned toward Austria, the mummy itself was found 93 meters inside Italian territory. Thankfully, both nations worked together, with Italy allowing Austria's Innsbruck University to complete the examinations. Since 1998, Otzi has been displayed at the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology in Italy, where he continues to offer a fascinating glimpse into ancient European life and survival in harsh conditions. The HMS Investigator. The story of Sir John Franklin's disappearance in the Arctic gripped Britain, as he was one of its most famous explorers. In 1848, after Franklin and his crew went missing on their journey to find the Northwest Passage, Britain's Arctic Council launched multiple search efforts, offering large rewards to anyone who could locate him. Although some clues were found, it wasn't until July 2010 that a significant part of the mystery unraveled. At the time, the British Navy was deeply invested in finding a passage through the Arctic that could connect the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, a potential route called the Northwest Passage. Since the Panama Canal didn't exist yet, ships had to navigate the treacherous waters around South America's tip, making this Arctic route highly desirable and potentially much safer. In 1845, Sir John Franklin, then 59, led an expedition with 2 ships, the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, to locate this elusive route. However, the journey was fraught with challenges from the beginning. Much of the crew's food was improperly sealed, contaminating it with lead. The expedition became trapped in Arctic ice by the winter of 1845 to 1846, and despite having supplies intended to last 3 years, the contamination rendered much of it inedible. After 2 years with no word from the expedition, Franklin's wife urged the British Admiralty to begin a search. All search efforts turned up very little. Only a written record, known as the Victory Point Note, was ever found. It recounted the crew's time trapped in the ice from 1846 to 1848 and revealed that Franklin had passed away on June 11, 1847. The note, likely written by surviving crew members, hinted at the expedition's desperate circumstances but didn't reveal the location of the ships. The Inuit people of the Arctic had knowledge of the HMS Erebus and Terra's location for a time, using the abandoned ships for copper and iron. However, within a year, one of the ships sank, and the exact location was forgotten. In July 2010, Parks Canada took up the search once more. While testing their underwater scanner on July 25th, the team stumbled upon a wreck. Surprisingly, it was not the Erebus or the Terra. It was the HMS Investigator, a ship sent to search for Franklin's expedition in 1853, which had itself become trapped in the ice and eventually sank. This unexpected find spurred Parks Canada to continue their search efforts. In 2014, they successfully located the HMS Erebus, and in 2016, they found the Terra, both using similar underwater technology. Excavations on the Erebus began recently, unearthing hundreds of artifacts that offer a glimpse into the fateful expedition. Interestingly, the discoveries strengthen Canada's historical claim to the Northwest Passage. The presence of British, and now by inheritance Canadian, ships in the Arctic as far back as the mid-1800s underscores Canada's long-standing connection to the region. Although the US occasionally asserts ownership over parts of the Northwest Passage due to Alaska's proximity, Canada's historical stake, grounded in these discoveries, supports a much stronger claim. These remarkable finds, frozen in ice, reveal the secrets of ancient lives, lost expeditions, and mysterious phenomena, reminding us how much history remains hidden beneath Earth's icy landscapes.